Hello YouTube world, this time we're going to make a review of Scarlet Witch action figure from Marvel Avengers Infinity War based on the movie. And the Scarlet Witch action figure comes from Hasbro basic action figure series, like with the previous action figures that we have reviewed in this channel. And the Scarlet Witch action figure is honestly is not something which is attractive. And at the first time I have seen this action figure, I was disappointed because yeah, even though you don't have yet unpacked this action figure, it is actually obvious on the outward and the appearance of this action figure that this is not actually a good looking action figure. But I bought it because I want it to be part of my stop motion video with at least proportional size with the other action figures, because I'm going to use the basic action figures in my stop motion video. So yeah, so I bought this action figure. And this is the back of the packaging, and we can see that this action figure has power effect like this one on the side of this action figure that we are going to see later on. And it has the one of the infinity stones, the yellow stone, which is the soul stone, comes from Vision, right? And at the back of this packaging, we have here the Iron Man action figure with time stone, the blue stone. And you know what? I really want to have the Iron Man. I said lately Iron Man. This Iron Spider. I'm sorry. This Iron Spider is so, you know what, the supply of this action figure is so few and it's very rare. And when I approached one of the sales lady in the Toy Kingdom, she said that in every pack, okay, in every pack of action figures, there's only one Iron Spiders. And that is why if you're not first in buying those action figures, yeah, you will lose the chance to buy it. And the Doctor Strange is also lack of supply, like with the Iron Spider. And so I keep hunting both action figures in some malls, and I couldn't really find both of them, and I'm so disappointed. And also the Gamora action figure, the Drax, the supply of those action figures are so few, and those figures are so rare, like with this Iron Spider and Doctor Strange. And yeah, so I couldn't find them, and probably I won't going to have them because I can't find them anymore. And yeah, we have Doctor Strange with a time stone with him, and that is exactly the stone he has in reality. And we have here the Captain America with a soul stone from Vision also. So yeah, let's take a look this action figure. Let's unpack it and let's see how good this action figure is. And we have now the Scarlet Witch of Avengers Infinity War action figure out of the packaging. And this action figure is obviously is not something which is attractive because of the paint, right? The paint is not actually looks great, but somehow when it comes to sculpt, the sculpt is actually looks great. And the structure of this action figure is actually proportion. But how they apply the paint of this action figure, yeah, it comes out bad. And especially when it comes to the head paint, it's not actually looks great. But let's try to examine this action figure closely. This is something that we can still appreciate. So the head sculpt of this action figure is actually great. Yeah, I like how they sculpt the hair of the Scarlet Witch. I like the wrinkles of the hairs. That really looks realistic, right? On the top, it looks fine. Yeah, the sculpt of the hair of this action figure is actually great, and something that you can see the efforts, right? They actually sculpt it well, but when it comes to the paint, I don't really like the paint of the hair of the Scarlet Witch. It's so um, it's so cheap. Look at that. The orange color is so light that it makes this action figure like an anime, which is this action figure is actually based on the movie, so it must be realistic when it comes to sculpt and the paint, right? But it makes this action figure look like an anime, and it ruins the sculpt because of that tone of the paint, which is so light. And when it comes to the sculpt of the face of this action figure, somehow I can see the face of the real actor of the Scarlet Witch in the movie, and yeah, it looks like really the actor, but how they apply the paint on the face of this action figure is not actually great. She has the, I don't know, with the paint. Yeah, she has also that orange eyebrow, and the paint not well painted. When it comes to the eyes of this action figure, the nose of this action figure look just fine. The lips, I think the paint is the as great factor to make the face of this action figure to make it great. But yeah, the head of this action figure looks cheap and looks not great actually. The paint ruined the the sculpt of this action figure. So it has a pendant as usual, and I like the sculpt of the hand of the Scarlet Witch action figure, right? When it comes to sculpt, this is actually great. The wrinkles, I really like that effect on her jacket, and it has also that texture on the bicep of the jacket of the Scarlet Witch action figure. See, the sculpt of the jacket of this Scarlet Witch is actually great. It only ruined because of the color of the hair and the face of this action figure. They didn't did a great job on the head. So if we're going to take this head, the sculpt of this action figure is actually great, and it has a zipper from her chest down to the belly. Yeah, this looks great actually on this part, and yeah, I like that wrinkle effect on her knee, and I love looking on that details because that makes look the action figure realistic, and I like that. There's also wrinkle effect on her boots, and on the part of her jacket. There's also texture, good texture here at her butt, and I like the idea that they make a separation here on the middle of the jacket of Scarlet Witch, so we can able to move both legs, right? Because on the other action figure, the Scarlet Witch is being steady, right? So I like that they separate it, and yeah, I like the texture on this part. Yeah, I like it. So let's try to articulate this action figure. So when it comes to articulation, you can still rotate the head of this action figure 360 despite of the great hair that she has, and you can make it I don't know, I cannot actually look up and cannot look down, but you can move her head a bit like this, just like just banging her head, and just that's it. It has a head pivot, and you can actually rotate her hand 360. You can actually the other hand also, you can move both hands 360, and you can move her hand sideward that far and that far also. Both hands can be moved outward, sideward that far, and I like that. And you can also move her elbow. It's so limited. Look at that. From this straight hand, and you bend it just that far. It's not double jointed elbow, but too much that you can only bend that elbow just that far. It's so limited, so much, really limited. And also on the other hand, you can only what? Oh my goodness, what is this? Oh yeah, what happened here? I can't understand. Yeah, you can actually just what happened here. I don't understand what happens on. Yeah, you can actually. I think the shoulder of this action figure, I have reversed it like that, so that's why I was confused. But you can actually bend her hand, the elbow just that far, like on the other elbow. So as I said lately, it's really limited. So there's no articulation on the rest. There's no articulation also on the other rest. It's really limited. No articulation on her chest, on her waist, and it can only kick that far, and it can also kick that far, and yeah, it cannot actually split, and no articulation on her knee, no articulation on the foot of this action figure. So basic action figure of Marvel is so limited, so this action figure has one of the Infinity Stones and the yellow stone, which is known as the Mind Stone, from the forehead of Vision, and this will be taken eventually will be taken from the forehead of Vision, and will be part of the Infinity Stones being put on the gauntlet of Thanos. So this action figure has also the power effect being put on the hand of this Scarlet action figure. So let's see how to put it. So you are to put it this power like that. Make sure that the thumb of this action figure is being put in that position, because if you don't know how to put it, you don't know how to make this action figure hold this power effect. So yeah, it's like holding a gun. So that is the position, and that's it. Let's see if this action figure can hold this power effect on her hand. It cannot actually. It actually fall. So yeah, that's disappointing. And this soul stone will be put here on the upper part of the power effect, and this it should be how you put it, but it cannot actually hold the power effect, right? So just take it off, and yeah, just put it just this way. So yeah, what can you say about this action figure? If you like this video, just hit like and comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. So thank you for watching my video.